Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to share with you how to make this broccoli and cheese soup. It's so incredibly easy to make and it's so delicious and it's perfect for this time of year. I served it with some homemade garlic bread, which was amazing. Stay tuned till the end of the video so you can hear how crunchy it was. Let's get started. The first thing we're going to do is prep all of our veggies. So we're going to start with our onion here and we're just going to give this a rough chop. I'm not going to finely chop this because I want to have those pieces show in my soup, but if you want to give it a nice fine chop, that is up to you. And then I am going to use these pre-shredded carrots and I'm going to measure out 2 cups. I do recommend that you use freshly shredded carrots because they're just better that way. I just didn't have any. And then we're going to move on to our broccoli. This is a 12-ounce bag of broccoli. And I'm going to give this a good rough chop as well. I'm going to have some small pieces, some bigger pieces. I don't like them super small because I like my soup to still have a bite to it. But if you want to make it super small so that it all melts into your soup, then that is up to you as well. Just have little pieces like about that size. And then we're going to move on to our cheese. So I also recommend that you use a block of cheese and shred it yourself because it will just melt so much better into your soup. If you use the pre-shredded cheese, it comes with like a little white powder in there so that the cheese doesn't all stick together, and so then that doesn't let it melt as nicely. So I do recommend that you shred it yourself. I'm using sharp cheddar, but you can use really any cheese that you like. You can use a mild cheddar, you can use a white cheddar, you can use a different yellow cheese like maybe a Colby. It'll all turn out delicious either way. So this is my cheese all shredded up, and now that everything is prepped, we're going to move on to the stove, and I'm going to melt over medium heat half a stick of butter. So that's about 4 tablespoons. And once that's nice and melted, I'm going to add my onion to the pot, and I'm going to saute this for like a good 5 minutes. I want the onion to become translucent. I want it to get soft. I want it to be fragrant. And we're going to continually stir that so it doesn't stick to the bottom of our pan. So just saute this for a few minutes. Your kitchen should already be smelling amazing. After those few minutes of sauteing, we are then going to add our carrots to the pot. And we're going to give those a good stir and get it all combined with the onions and the butter. And after about a couple minutes of sauteing, then it's going to be time to season this. So I'm going to season with some salt, some freshly cracked black pepper, and then I'm also going to use a little bit of smoked paprika. And this is just going to give our soup a depth of flavor and maybe add some color to it. If you don't have paprika, you can add something like ground nutmeg or ground mustard. You just want another thing in there that's going to layer the flavor in this soup. After we stir in our seasonings, we're going to add our flour, and this is going to serve as a thickening agent, so it's going to make our soup nice and thick. And we're going to give this a good stir it until you don't see any more raw flour bits in there. So that's going to take a couple minutes for us to cook out the raw flavor of the flour. And then once we have stirred it in really well, we're going to add our chicken stock. So I added 4 cups of chicken stock because I wanted my soup really soupy, but it turned out to be too soupy, so I ended up adding more broccoli and a little bit more cheese. But for it to turn out perfect, just add 2 cups of chicken stock. Do as I say and not as I do. Only add 2 cups of chicken stock. And then we're going to add all of our broccoli. Once we finish adding our chicken stock, we're going to give this a good stir, and then we're going to put the lid on this and we're going to let this come to a boil, and we're going to let it cook for about 15 to 20 minutes until your broccoli is super soft and basically cooked through. And then once that happens, we're going to give this a good stir, and then we're going to add our heavy cream. If you want this to be a little bit lighter, you can use half and half instead, or you can use just milk. So we're going to give our heavy cream a good stir, and then we are going to cover this and let this come to a simmer and simmer for about 5 to 10 minutes. And after that time, your soup should have gotten thicker, and now it's going to be time to add our cheese. I'm going to add the cheese in 2 parts. So first I'm going to add half of it, and I'm going to give that a good stir and make sure that it has melted. And once it has melted, I'm going to add the second half of my cheese, and then I'm going to give that a good stir as well until all of my cheese is fully melted. And at this point, you want to taste your soup to make sure it doesn't need any more salt or anything. If it does, this is the point where you want to add it, and then you want to let it simmer for about another 5 minutes. But if not, then at this point you can turn off the heat and you are all done. Wasn't that so easy to make? And now you're left with this super delicious soup. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't yet, please subscribe to my channel so you don't miss out on any future videos. Also, follow me on Instagram for more food content. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.